good afternoon, good evening, everyone from wherever you are. My name is Humphrey Beja, a midwife currently affiliated to Lira University in Northern Uganda. I'm going to present to you this study with the title, Knowledge, Practices of Emergency Contraception, Use and Associated Factors among female undergraduate students in Northern Uganda, a cross-sectional study. The principal investigator of this study was Barbara Kelly Achen, who is a lecturer at Lira University. Other co-investigators are Isaac Obonyo, Tony Ochieng, Benedict Arebo, and Anna Grace Auma. Anna Grace is the Dean Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery at Lira University. This study was funded by the Center for International Reproductive Health Training at the University of Michigan. Please watch this video up to the end. A very interesting study, and also you can take interest and download the original article, which will be published along with this video for further details regarding the study. Let us begin with the background of this study. As you may know, emergency contraception refers to methods of contraception that can be used to prevent pregnancy after unprotected sexual intercourse. But it should also be noted that emergency contraception does not protect anybody from sexually transmitted infections or diseases. So its purpose is just to prevent unintended pregnancy. So if used effectively, that is to say, with the correct timing and appropriate method, emergency contraception can prevent up to 95% of pregnancies. It is known that over 100 million acts of sexual intercourse take place in the world each day. That means even today that you are watching this video, 100 million acts of sexual intercourse will take place today, resulting into 3 million conceptions, of which 50% of them are unplanned, and 20% of these unplanned conceptions are unwanted. 25% of them are unwanted. While global studies provide insights into awareness and usage of EC, Uganda has higher rates of unwanted pregnancies than other sub-Saharan African countries, if you check from literature. But apart from that, we also have to know that there are differences in how emergency contraception is accessed from one setting to another. Even within the sub-Saharan African countries themselves, there are variations. There are also variations in the cost one has to incur to access emergency contraception and other modern contraceptives. In Uganda particularly, we have limited evidence, most especially focused on emergency contraception use among female undergraduate students. So, it was imperative that we understand the knowledge of the undergraduate students, we understand their perceptions regarding emergency contraception, because this information could be used in the development of targeted interventions to reduce unplanned pregnancies and also prevent their associated risk of school dropouts and unsafe abortion. So this informed the conduct of this study. So it was imperative that we conduct this study. Study aim. This study assessed the knowledge and practices of ECUs and associated factors among female undergraduate students at Lear University in Northern Uganda. Looking at the methodology we used for conducting this study, this was a descriptive institutional-based cross-sectional study conducted among 328 female undergraduate students of Lear University in Northern Uganda. The data collection tool we used was a self-administered questionnaire. And during our data analysis, we used statistical package for social sciences, and we presented our results as frequencies and percentages, most especially for the social demographics, knowledge, and practices. We used binary and multiple logistic regressions to determine the association between the outcome variable and the independent variables. And the results were presented as odds ratios at 95 percentile confidence interval. So our associations were considered statistically significant at p-value less than or equals to 0.05. Looking at the results of this study, the response was good. We had a response proportion of 98%. On the social demographics of our study participants, the details, you can look at them from the complete publication. But it's important to note that majority of our study participants were in the age bracket of 18 to 23. That is 71%. If you look at the age groupings we used, and majority of them also had a consistent sexual partner, 67.4%, and were unmarried, 62.8%. Being unmarried in this study, in our context, we meant someone who has not undergone a formal cultural or religious marriage, either of the two. So it can be a cultural marriage, can be a civil marriage, any form of marriage, including church marriage, if I can say. So some of them could be cohabiting, but not formally married. Some of them could just be living on their own, but of course having a sexual partner. So that's literally the meaning of being unmarried in the context of our study. Looking at the knowledge about EC among our study participants, we found that almost all our study participants had ever heard about emergency contraception. That is 96% of them. And majority of those who have ever heard about emergency contraception learned about it from the health professionals and family members and friends. Health professionals at 45.7%, and those who learned about emergency contraception from family members and friends were at 41.2%. Interestingly, the most well-known brand of emergency contraception was Postina 2, which is a levonorgestrel, as reported by 39.6% of the study participants. And 61% of them were knowledgeable about the correct timing of EC. The correct timing, the duration of time one should take before using a particular method of EC. So regarding the practices of EC use, we found that 65.2% of our study participants had ever used emergency contraception. And out of these, 57% of them acquired the EC from the pharmacy. More than half of them obtained the EC, the emergency contraception, from the pharmacy. But of those who used this commodity, most of them used Postina 2 out of the other forms of EC. 43% of them used Postina 2, a levonorgestrel, which was the brand of EC most commonly known by these study participants. Still underused, majority of first study participants used EC to prevent unplanned pregnancy. That is 81.8% of them. And also 85% of them used it with the correct timing. Regarding factors associated with EC use, we found two factors to be independently statistically significant at multivariate analysis, and they were being a student who was studying at the Faculty of Health Sciences at the time of the study, and absence of a consistent current sexual partner. With it being a student studying at the Faculty of Health Sciences, having an adjusted odds ratio of 4.27 and a p-value of less than or equals to 0.003. In absence of a consistent current sexual partner, having an adjusted odds ratio of 8.63 and a p-value of less than or equals to 0.001. So these were the factors that we found associated with EC use among our study participants. Therefore, we conclude that participants showed good knowledge and usage of EC, but gaps still persisted. There were gaps, and being a student who was studying at the Faculty of Health Sciences, and lack of a consistent current sexual partner correlated with EC use. We recommend consistent education efforts to address knowledge gaps, focusing on diverse EC forms, reliable information, and affordability. So when we are educating the undergraduate students on the use of EC, we should focus on addressing key knowledge gaps, making them aware of the different forms of EC, the different forms of emergency contraception, educating them about the reliable source of information about emergency contraception, and we should make emergency contraception available, accessible, and affordable, either at no cost or at a subsidized cost. This study was funded with the support from the Center for International Reproductive Health Training at the University of Michigan. Thank you for listening. For any collaboration on any research work, you can send me an email on my email below, or you can reach out to me on my number as below. Take your time, interest yourself, and read the full article. It will be published along with this video. Thank you for watching this video. Bye-bye.